Hey guys, on one of my earlier videos, hey, I sound like a YouTube star, one of my earlier videos, I picked and raked a Vachette that I got from Bosnian Bill. Actually, it was this one. And the general consensus is here that this is a fake. Cheap Chinese knockoff of a Vachette, simply because of the way the core is shaped and the logo is misprinted, but it was easy enough to single pin pick and rake. Now I thought, just for the heck of it, I would do a real Vachette. And here's a real Vachette. How do you tell it's a real Vachette? Well, first of all, let me pop it up here. The logo is right. It's written right there, Vachette, in lowercase. The logo is pretty well stamped. The key, this is the key. Vachette style key, pretty unique, with Vachette written across there. Also, the big giveaway though is the plug. The way the keyway is shaped, there's a cutout all the way up the keyway that supports the key. So this is a functioning, working lock. See, works. When the key is in here, the force of the turn goes on the wall of the plug instead of on the key. I think it's a pretty good design, actually. Key and the plug probably last forever. I mean, I would think this thing would go for a long time. Anyhow, it's a 5-pin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the bitting on the key is fairly uniform. It's not bidding from hell anyhow. So what I'm going to try and do here is I'm going to try and rake this one for two reasons. One, because the bidding seems to indicate that raking would be a good idea. Two, the guy who gave me the lock, Bosnian Bill, said the easiest way to get into this thing was to rake it. So I'm going to rake it. Now what I'm going to use here is I have a Peterson pry bar. I like the pry bars. I'm going with pry bars these days because with the pry bars there is much less a likelihood of me jamming the plug into the housing of the lock, which really stops the lock from opening. A lot of times you can have a lock completely picked. It's picked. But if that tension wrench is binding into the side of that housing, the lock's not going to open. And you can spend a lot of time before you say, oh, gee, look at that. Anyhow, I'm going to use a Peterson street rake. I really kind of like the street rakes. I'm going for these days. I've had a bunch of success with them. Raking seems to be working for me all of a sudden. And I know everybody uses the Bogota. Everybody wants a Bogota. I don't have a Bogota. I thought I had a Bogota, but it was only 2 peaks, so that means it's not a Bogota. Anyhow, Capisha said he might get me a Bogota, and I'm going to try that. So let's see if we can't get this open. Hold on, I'm going to tighten this up. One of the things I like with this is that when you're raking, and all of a sudden it seems like it's almost open, you can just stop raking and finish it off with a single pin picking. Getting nowhere right now though. Got it. I don't know whether you call that single pin picked or raked. But it's open.